It's important to make sure that as content creators, we understand that the brand deals that we do are not about us. They're about the companies. They're wanting to work with us, not because they think we're amazing. They want to work with us because the company is going to benefit in some way. So your job as a content creator is to figure out exactly what it is that they need and try to help them accomplish that.
This is Nick Nimmin. He specializes in helping content creators grow their channels and maximize their YouTube presence. Known for his accessibility and user-friendly tutorials, Nick has become a trusted figure in the YouTube community, resulting in an incredibly profitable brand. His meticulous process has made him a thought leader, not just on YouTube, but also with some of the biggest software tools in our creator industry. In this episode, we're going to discuss how new YouTubers can make money in the same way that old YouTubers do, the reality of YouTube and why it looks easy, how you can prove yourself to brands before even talking to them, his unique but powerful way of crafting partnership deals, and what our number one job is as content creators when it comes to making money. Nick gives us all the advice and tutorials that we need to thrive on YouTube while making money. The Funded YouTuber is brought to you by GigaStar. I am so excited that the man, the myth, the legend, my friend Nick, has joined us today to talk about all of the money things. Welcome to the podcast, Nick.
Thank you, Desiree. Super excited to be here. Super excited to talk about anything creator economy related, because there's so much opportunity on the internet right now, and anybody that is possibly sleeping on that opportunity is really missing out. Even if you have a job, even if you have other things that you're doing, you can still have a side thing that's going to pay for your car, pay for your mortgage, possibly, depending on how far down the rabbit hole you're willing to go. But you can cover a lot of expenses just by making some content or making some posts on the internet. And technically with X, you can even do it with text now, just from tweeting.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of diving in ahead of what I usually start with this podcast, but I love this idea, elder millennial, the gig economy, we made that. That was us. We're the ones that are okay, recession 2007, way to stop us from joining the world. And we created all these other ways for us to make money. And I feel as we head into the next financial situation, we're going to be able to, this is the new, I think, way for the gig economy to work for us, especially because all the old gigs are super regulated, super competitive, they pay a lot less. And so I think that that's the right approach to how the creator economy can work for people, even if it's in a small way. So Nick, what do you create on the internet?
So I make videos and some other, just kind of random content that helps content creators learn how to thrive on YouTube. That's my jam. So I've been on YouTube since 2014. During that time, when I first started the YouTube channel, I was brand new like everybody else. I had a great opportunity to work with somebody that knew what they were doing. And from there, it kind of, helped me understand the importance of what actually matters on YouTube. And I ended up burning out on that particular channel, came back to the channel that I'm on now. And one of the first things, which actually is a great lead in for this conversation, one of the first things that I realized working on that other channel was that I was hooked on YouTube. I wanted to do the thing, but if I wanted to do the thing, the reason I was leaving that channel is because I was burned out, because I had my other business that I was doing and I was being a content creator. And I realized that if I wanted to do this content creator thing seriously, I got to figure out how to monetize it. So the first thing that I did was I built a website, and I leveraged my design skills to start making video assets for that website where people could buy them a la carte. And then I started offering services to where I would build video branding packages for people off of that website. And that got me fully immersed into the content creator space, helped me network with other content creators, and started that journey. And I was able to actually go full time through that in a very short amount of time.
I think an important question that I'd like to ask you is, I know that this year marks your 10 years of being a content creator on YouTube, whether it's for yourself or not. I think that the question that a lot of people would say when they hear that kind of stuff, because we have talked to other creators on this podcast who have been on for a minute, is there still a way to make money in the way that older creators are able to make money if they're starting now or they have started maybe post-pandemic?
Without question. The only difference is back when I first started my channel, we got monetized right when you started the channel. That was just part of the onboarding process to being a content creator, is basically you create your channel and then you click a button and then you go through the whole, AdSense thing, and then you create your account there. And it was just part of the gig at that time. So now the only thing that's different is we have a lot more opportunities now. There's a lot more things that are, affiliate based, because now everybody knows, any, major companies or anything, they know the importance of affiliate marketing. You even have general affiliate things like, Walmart Walmart and Amazon, where you can send people there, Amazon specifically. And if somebody makes a purchase through your link, even if they didn't buy the thing that you sent them to, you still can make money on anything they buy within, the next 24 hours there. So, we have all of these additional opportunities there, and it's easier than ever now to get attention on the internet, because back in the day, we didn't have all the information that we have available now. Now, it doesn't matter if you're trying to thrive on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, X, Snapchat. It doesn't matter where you're trying to get attention. There are channels that will help you do it. And there's channels on every single one of those outlets that will help you do it on all of the other outlets, including the ones, that are where the content is stored. So yeah, it's never been a better time, in my opinion, to take advantage of all this stuff.
What were the circumstances that you had in place that allowed for you to go full-time as a creator?
So for me, because I was also self-employed, being a content creator in general, and as you know, if you're self-employed, you have full control over your time. So because of that, I could prioritize the things that I wanted to do, and I could, kind of shift around the things that I needed to do. And basically, I had to go through a period of time to where I was burning the candle at both ends, to where I was working literally from the time that I woke up until the time that I went to bed. But that particular sacrifice at that point in time was something that I needed to go through. And for me, that was kind of the path there.
I love that you were like, I was already working for myself. When did YouTube replace your other income?
It took me probably in total, I don't have an exact date off the top of my head because I can't remember, but I would say from the day that I started my YouTube channel in 2015, I think that I was full-time by 2016. So that means within a year and a half, maybe 2 years, I, kind of hit my stride, and I understood how to monetize stuff, how to drive traffic there. And, I had some advantages too. So, before I started my YouTube channel, in addition to the design stuff that I was doing, I also had a little bit of internet marketing, background. I also had a little bit of, where I would rank blog posts and things like that for clients and for myself at the time. So, I had a little bit of search engine experience and things like that. So that kind of helped me accelerate some of that. So if you're somebody that is just getting started, your results may happen faster, or they may happen a little bit slower, just based on the skills that, you come into all this with.
The thing that's cool about the creator economy, now I can't speak for like the kids that are up and coming and stuff, is that all of us have some level of skills or knowledge around something that allows for us to be able to have a solid foundation with being a creator, which is why I get I think a little salty with creators that are like, I'm so bad at this, and so I give up. It's like, I'm sorry, do you not remember what it was like to start something new, especially professionally? Like, we were terrible at it. Even going to college for 4 years, my first jobs I had out of college, I sucked at them because I didn't know what I was doing. Like, there wasn't like office politics 101 in college, or like how to actually work on projects and stuff. Like, when you're starting with YouTube, people just beat themselves up so much when it doesn't succeed right away. And I honestly don't understand why it is that we think it would be so easy. What is your experience? I mean, you're at 900,000 subscribers, and I know you've talked to thousands and thousands of creators. Why does this happen?
It's expectation. So when you're experiencing YouTube or just the internet in general as a viewer, the way that all of the systems work on every platform is they prioritize the content that is competitive and the content that holds viewers' attention. So when you are watching YouTube as a viewer, all of the content that you are getting presented to you, or most of the content that you're getting presented to you, there's been some changes recently, but most of the content that you're getting presented to you is content that is competitive within the system, meaning that YouTube has identified that, you are this type of viewer on the platform, and they're showing you all of the content that they think is a great fit for you that is competitive against all of the other content that could be a great fit for you. So because of that, when you're watching as a viewer, it all looks easy because you're getting shown these content creators that know how to make content that's good enough that it will get recommended to you. So because of that, it's a seamless experience on the viewer side. And you're like, oh, hey, this is great. I just log onto YouTube. I click on this video. It looks like it's pretty easy because this person's just sitting at their place making videos. And you're not thinking about like, okay, well, they had to write this title that had to grab my attention. They had to make this thumbnail that helped me identify that this content was about something that I cared about in the first place. They hooked me when I came into the video. They kept the video going, and they threw in these pattern interruptions that, grabbed my attention and kind of confused me for a second or something, or just distracted me, and they pull me back into the content. Like, you're not thinking about all of the, thought that goes into putting together a good piece of content because you're just enjoying it. And then the difference happens, and you see all the view counts and stuff. You're like, wow, this person's got, 1,000 subscribers. This person's got 10,000. This person's got 100,000. Wow, I'm watching this new person that I just found that has, 8 million subscribers. And you see all these people getting, thousands of views, tens of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of views, and millions of views, and you're not seeing because you're not getting recommended the content, or you're getting recommended and you're not responding to it because they don't know, but you're not seeing the majority of content on YouTube that has 8 views on it, that has 10 views on it, that has 12 views on it, because they can't do any of those things yet because they're at that very beginning part of the learning curve. They can't do any of those things that I just went through in terms of grabbing your attention, pulling you into the content, and giving you a great experience there that will then cause the systems to recommend your content to more people. So when it comes to that problem in terms of the expectation of it being easy, I think it just comes from, people being served content that's good. And since it's good and it has good numbers attached to it, they just assume that they'll be able to make something similar, and all they got to do is just make a video and upload it and it'll get a lot of views. And then it becomes really discouraging, because then it's like, man, what am I doing wrong? I just spent like a week making this video. I researched it. I wrote the best title that I could. I made this thumbnail that I think is good, because, when you're at that stage, everything you do is based around what you think is good at the moment. But just like any skill that you develop, you can't really see what's good until you learn how to identify what's good. So because of that, you make what you can and you do it to the best of your ability based on your personal tastes, and you publish it, and then it tanks and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that I spent all this time. All these other people are doing so much better than me. I suck. Why can't I figure this out? And at the end of the day, all you have to do is disconnect from that and acknowledge the fact that exactly what you mentioned, Desiree, that you're in a learning curve. When you pick up an instrument, like let's say, for example, you want to play the guitar. First, you got to figure out what type of guitar you want to play and what type of music you want to play. That's kind of like picking your niche on YouTube. Then from there, you're like, okay, well, I have this guitar. What do I do with it? And you try to play it and you're like, oh my God, this hand doesn't move right when I'm trying to move this hand. And then you got to figure out how to get your hands to move right. You got to figure out how to get your, fingers to be able to move individually. You got to figure out where all the notes are on the guitar, what strings do what. You got to figure out, how do I even tell if this thing is in tune? And you have to go through this huge process. And there's not one person ever that picked up a guitar and then everybody's like, wow, let's put you on the biggest stage in the world and give you all this attention. Never happened. Instead, they have to go through all of these processes and spend years learning how to play the guitar, and they still might not be that great, but they might be good enough to where maybe they can play some like local venues or, something like that. So YouTube is the same exact thing. It's just a learning curve, just like, you mentioned, where in our lives, when you learn anything, you start with not knowing anything about it, and then you painstakingly go through the process of, failure over and over again. And through every one of those failures, you learn a little bit more, and that little bit more helps you do a little bit better next time. And then if you just keep rinsing and repeating that and beating yourself up, so to speak, through the process, and actively focus on skill building, you'll do okay.
So when we're talking about YouTubers, and I love what you kind of had said earlier about how you had to get serious about making money as a creator when you were trying to you were trying to make your YouTube business, I guess, do more than your freelance work. You had to make money. When it comes to creators, when do you think they should be treating YouTube like a business rather than just creating really great content?
I think it comes down to what they want to do. So, if you have the individual that's like, you know what, I'm not really trying to make this a business. I'm actually just trying to connect with people, and I'm trying to just, if I can connect with, 100 people a video that also love this thing that I love, then that's going to be a success in my eyes. You have those people, and that's perfectly fine. Then you have other people that are like, okay, I'm going to start this channel, and the whole reason that I'm starting this channel is so that maybe I can go full time, maybe I can, use it to help me pay bills, something like that. For those people, totally different game, because then before you even start your channel, if you can, you should be researching and trying to figure out what is the best path for you. And the reason for that is because every niche on YouTube is not the same. Some niches get more ad revenue. Some niches, it's easier to promote things as an affiliate. Some niches are better for sponsorships in terms of the amount of money that you'll get. Like different types of content has different types of opportunities attached to it. So I have a video on my YouTube channel. It's titled, and if you just look for it and search and then attach my name at the end, you'll find it. But it's called How to Start a YouTube Channel to Make Money. In that particular video, I have like a spreadsheet, to where you can do some research against, other people in different niches. And then it basically helps you identify the niche that, is the best fit. So the whole idea in a nutshell, just so you don't have to watch the video in order to get the information, so we can give it to you here. The whole idea in a nutshell is you pick a handful of things that you're really passionate about, that you really enjoy. And the reason that that is important is because you're going to be doing this for a long period of time. You're going to make a lot of videos about it. You could become known for that thing, which means that, you're going to be on podcasts about it. Maybe you're going to be doing collaboration videos with other content creators about it. You're probably going to be going to industry events around whatever that thing is, that sort of thing, if you're doing it at a high level. So because of that, it's important to, at the starting point, go into something that you're already interested in and that you enjoy. So you pick a handful of things and you're like, okay, these are the things that I really enjoy and that I would love to make content about. Then you go and you research. What you do is you go and you pull up YouTube channels that make content like that. You hit their video descriptions and you look across a lot of their video descriptions, new videos, old videos, really old videos, and you start looking for things that are repetitive. Because as a content creator, once you find things that work, you continue to promote those things and you continue to bring attention to those things, or you can continue to create those things or service those things or offer the services or whatever the thing is because it's working. So you look for those consistencies and you're like, okay, for this niche, crafting, for over here, I want to show people how to knit because I love knitting. Well, how to content creators monetize knitting. You go and you do that research and you hit their descriptions. You're going to find maybe some of them might have a sponsor. You might find that some of them are just sending people to affiliate. You might find that people are sending, people to crowdfunding platforms like, Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon or Ko-Fi or something like that. You might find that they have their own membership communities where they hop on, calls and teach people in a group setting. But basically, for that one, you'll find that. And then for the other thing that you like, maybe it is talking about cameras or, something like that. And you go and you look at those channels and you're like, okay, well, they're doing camera reviews and things like that. They're promoting things as an affiliate. They've got sponsorships maybe from some of these camera companies, maybe from these lens companies, maybe these accessory companies. So let me write those down. So if I start walking down that path, then I can, put those companies on my radar, put myself on their radar through adding them on social media and so on when I make content about them. But the idea is you just go through the process of figuring out how these channels monetize by looking in their video descriptions, and then you start researching the ways that they monetize. So you're like, okay, this person on this crafting channel, they're sending people into this paid community. How much are they charging? Let me join the paid community and see what they're offering. And you basically just start rinsing and repeating that through all of the different ways that people are monetizing all the different niches that you're interested in. And then the one that has the potential for the most profit for the least amount of input, that's the one you roll with, in my opinion, if you're doing the channel for the purpose of making money.
That's all really good. It's essentially the idea of study what people are doing and the niche you want to be in and find a way to mirror it and make it better so that you can have that success.
Yep. And just identifying it, because it qualifies it. Like, if you're like, okay, I'm interested in these 4 things, but these 2 things, there's like a million ways that these content creators monetize these 2 things. You probably want to go with one of those instead of, these other 2 over here, right? So it just kind of helps you qualify how you're going to be spending your time in the future for the most amount of income.
Right. No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think it's an important thing for people to factor in because, I would argue that when you have been around for a while, and I've been around for 7 years, you've been around for 10, there is some level of competition, I want to say, around some of the brands that people would want to work with. So for example, you and I are both StreamYard partners. Mm-hmm. And I remember when I started with StreamYard, it was a very weird situation because I was one of the only people on YouTube at the time that had tutorials about StreamYard when COVID hit. And so I had connected with the owners and I was like, hey, I'm getting these kind of videos. I've made these things to support this community. I have like 6,000 emails just from the StreamYard videos. Like, we've got to figure out how to make this work. And I actually worked with the owners, it's Gage and Dan, because they didn't have like a partnership program yet. They didn't have people they're working with. And so I helped them with like launching that, and I, helped them bring in partners and figure out what to do. And then they sold it and they were able to just run it as the way they wanted and make it work cool. And then the company that bought it was able to put all the other marketing pieces that were in place. And so, StreamYard's been around for a while and they have their established partners and people that they work with and things like that. And so I could see someone coming in who's new that maybe is doing something in live streaming or doing something with video creation, or maybe like their niche is like making really great podcasts or something. Like them being like, them going to StreamYard and being like, hey, I'd like to partner, and then being like, sorry, we're full. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to those kinds of like brand partnerships and stuff, what do you think it is that creators can do like when they're on their growth trajectory, when they're on their income producing activities like planning? What do they do to find those brand partnerships when the partners might essentially already be full of people that are doing great stuff, or it's already competitive, or they just can't?
prove to them that you're worth it ahead of time. So the way that you do that is you promote them as an affiliate. So I'm sure, with your videos that you made, you have affiliate links in there, and that kind of puts you on their radar, because on the affiliate side, of companies, if the companies you're wanting to work with have affiliate programs, in that particular case, you can be like, hey, I'm sending you, X amount of sales. My community loves your product. I'm using your products for, everything that I do, incorporating your stuff everywhere. We should find a way to work together. Kind of like you did, with StreamYard. And when you take that approach, then you're kind of proving up front, like, hey, my audience responds when I recommend your stuff. And then from there, once they acknowledge that, then everything starts coming down to scale. So it's like, okay, well, if your audience responds and your channel's growing or you're getting consistent view counts or whatever the thing is, then we can pretty much count on that, if somebody's watching your archive, that you're going to have a certain amount of people clicking on your links, but you're also going to have a certain amount of people that are like, okay, StreamYard. Okay, I heard about StreamYard on Nick's channel, heard about it on Desiree's podcast, heard about it, this other person talking about it. So I'm just going to hop into Google and type in StreamYard, and they also get a lot of business that way too. So when it comes to that sort of thing, when you can prove just through the affiliate sales that you can send awareness about their product, then that's a great way to just get your foot in the door and open up the conversation about, trying to work together in some capacity.
What's nice about doing it with affiliates too is it gives you opportunity for income right away.
Right.
Yeah, like I said, especially for companies that have affiliate programs in place, which a lot of SaaS companies do, and a lot of other, things like you can do things through Amazon and through Walmart and all those kinds of things. And being able to have the opportunity for making money at the gate and then going to them with this idea of like, let's make more money together, it still gives you that launching point and there's still income happening.
Absolutely. And also another part of that too is it's important on your way, like when you're starting to get traction on what it is that you're doing, it's really important to put a lot of energy into thinking about your brand, because your brand also carries a lot of weight when it comes to working with companies. So, like when you build a strong brand that's known for something very specific, and it's also known to, in terms of like your ethics and how you do things, if it is also in alignment with these companies, they're going to be more prone to work with you also. So if you have a strong brand, then basically what you do when you work out brand deals is you have the opportunity to kind of integrate the brands. Like, for example, right here on this show, I've got a StreamYard cup sitting right here. If you're listening on the audio version, you're not going to see this, but just to, kind of spell it out for you. I have a StreamYard mug that's sitting here in front of me. This is happening right here on Desiree's show. And I just came off of another show right before I hopped on this call with her. So this cup was there for that as well, which puts StreamYard branding in front of even more people. In addition to that, here in my background, I have a blue StreamYard pillow, which because of the depth of field on the camera, you can't see it super clear, but it's still back there. And I also have StreamYard's puddles here in the background as well. And if you're really focused in and you're paying attention, Desiree and I have been talking about StreamYard here for like 5 minutes. So when it comes to those types of things, also, when you have that brand, and then you're also trying to integrate, the brands together to where people start associating your brand with those brands, then it can also, make you and what it is that you're doing more valuable to other brands because they see it. I got the StreamYard deal because they saw what I was doing with TubeBuddy. I got the Opus Clip deal because they saw what I was doing with StreamYard, right? And then, all this stuff in the middle, it's just because we know each other, or they see me working with the other companies or whatever. But like when you are a content creator and you're trying to do the best that you can in terms of the brand deal side, it's really advantageous to over-deliver also. So what I mean by that is some people will be like, well, hey, if they're not paying me for this video, I'm not going to put it in the video. Me, I'm like, hey, if we're working together, we're working together. So that means it doesn't matter if you're paying me for the video. Sure, I'll make those too. But I'm also going to just bring attention to your stuff when the opportunity presents itself. Doesn't matter if I'm on stage. Doesn't matter if I'm on an interview. It doesn't matter, like what it is that I'm doing. Even like we have meetups here where I live. We have like YouTuber meetups. Even there, I'm there representing these companies. So I'm like, they're talking about different things. I'm like, hey, you should be using Opus Clip to, repurpose, your long form videos into short form. You should be using StreamYard to stream. You should be using TubeBuddy to help you optimize everything. And I'm like, painting, this picture and just constantly representing these companies in every capacity that I can. And they see that. And since they see that I'm out there carrying the flag for them, which then, kind of helps deepen the relationship for, the long term.
I think what's so great about what you're saying is, one, I'm going to totally take this clip and I'm going to send it to all of my brand partners and see, I do this for you guys too. We should do this together more. But it's also, I think everybody listening can use this exact same powerful statement that Nick has talked about, because I preach this all the time as well. It's like, I feel like sponsorships are all right ways to make money. Brand partnerships, though, is where you're going to have the most success, because from the creator perspective, from the audience perspective, if you are just like, and this week is this sponsor, and this video is this sponsor, and it's all different, it's all changing, it's very much comes across as like, okay, like what do you stand for? What's your association? And I think that there are some brands that maybe it makes a little bit more sense. Like if you do something that's like cooking education, or if it's stuff around beauty and fashion, where like you're reviewing lots of different kinds of things and people have asked you about stuff, that part's a little different. But when like you're doing something that is kind of, you have your staples and the things that like don't tend to change a lot, like beauty, fashion, makeup, that kind of stuff, cooking, when you can build long-term brand partnerships, it's going to allow for your audience to understand like, okay, they're loyal to this company. They believe in this company. I keep seeing them talk about this company. So, and they are solving my problems. So I should just solve my problems in the way that they're solving my problems. And I said, we have these added benefits that come with having long-term brand partnerships, because we become an extension essentially of their marketing teams. We become an extension of their sales teams, where they can turn to us to help them with things that they're doing, like speaking on stages, showing up at events to do coaching, to help with creating content, not just for our brands, also for their brands as well. You've talked about the work that you and I both used to do stuff with TubeBuddy together. We also are on like the Spreadshop Creator Board of Directors together. There's a lot of those things, like, and we represent those brands every chance that we can, because we believe in what they're doing, because we vetted them and they've proven not only loyalty to us, but loyalty and quality to our audiences. So it allows for those like to really find those. So spend the time finding those good brand partnerships that you can build really strong relationships with. And it can be as simple as, like Nick said, with doing the affiliates. I also suggest that you connect with them in some way, shape, or form. Like LinkedIn is a really great way to do that. Like everyone I find that is doing anything in marketing or business is on LinkedIn, especially now. And it's a great way to give advice, respond to what they're saying, share what they're doing, and be engaged in what they have going on, and then using it in your content. It becomes this really great cycle of like connecting and staying in front of them, so that you can build those long-term relationships. Let's head over to our pie chart for you and talk about like your different income streams that you have. So of course, at the top, like we all have everyone's making AdSense. It makes up a little over than 7% of your income. Now your next and your highest income stream is through sponsorships. I'm really fascinated by this. It's just under 50% of your income. Share with us what it is that you do that's very unique to you when it comes to your brand sponsorship.
So every deal is different, of course, but basically I have a background in sales. Plus, I just like working things out. So one of the first things that I do, like if somebody reaches out to me for a deal of some kind, is I try to get them on a phone call. And the reason I try to get them on a phone call is because it's important to make sure that as content creators, we understand that the brand deals that we do are not about us. They're about the companies. They're wanting to work with us, not because they think we're amazing. They want to work with us because the company is going to benefit in some way. So because of that, I like to hop on calls and I like to figure it out, right? Okay, what is it that you're trying to do? Are you going for direct, click links from the video description? Are you going for brand awareness? Are you, like what exactly are you trying to accomplish, and how can I fit into that to help you accomplish that thing? And then that conversation will usually lead into, well, this is what we're trying to do. What do you have to offer? And then from there, that's when I'll let people know, like, well, I can make content, I can live stream on your channel. I even do little things. Like, for example, if you look at my channel page right now, I have a little bar on my channel page that shows the companies that I work with. And then if the companies, have a YouTube channel, which everybody does, then in that case, I'll even put links to them there. So as content creators are looking more into me, they'll run across those companies as well through links on my channel page. And then hopefully, hit those links and then go over to their channels, either subscribe or just learn more about the products that are on offer there. So little things like that, even things like, okay, if you have an update of your product and you want me to share it in my community feed, if you publish a video on or something like that, to let me know. and then I'll share it. If they have other things that they do, like one of the companies that I'm working with right now, I'm in their product feedback Discord, and it's me and a handful of other, content creators that are in there from different platforms that use this service. And one of the things that we do is, as we're using the service, we just ping them and we're like, hey, it'd be awesome is if you added this right here, if we could do this, or hey, if we could remove this click right here and just go from here to here without this stuff in the middle, it would just speed things up a ton. Or hey, if we could just publish right here, without having to actually download something and re-upload it somewhere, then that would help on the workflow side. And basically we work with them to help them fine-tune the tool to make it a better tool for their customers, which are content creators. So there's those types of things that you can do if you're open for it. It's not always just about like, hey, let me just make a video and then try to send some people there. Sometimes people don't even care if you send clicks. So I work with one company that they could care less if people click the link or not. What they want is they want my viewers to see me using their product. They want me to mention that I use their product when people ask me what I use to do certain things. That's it. That's all they care about. And as a part of that, I'm like, okay, well, if that's what you want, then let's do some more stuff. Let's not only, have me mentioning that kind of stuff in my videos. And of course, I'll make dedicated videos and things like that too. But it's like, okay, let's make like a whole asset pack for that. So they can not only see that I'm using the product, but if they decide to use the product, we can make an asset pack that's branded around me that they can actually go in and make stuff that I've made for them. So then you can do little things like that too, to where it's like, hey, this is what you're trying to do. Let's workshop this and figure out, fun and creative ways that we can, help you accomplish that goal. Because, at the end of the day, the people that you're talking with, they're just people that are, working at these companies or that own these companies. And they're just trying to, just spread awareness about their thing. They just want people to use their stuff just like anybody that has any product or service. So your job as a content creator is to figure out exactly what it is that they need and try to help them accomplish that. So in some cases, that's going to be things like, okay, so I noticed on your YouTube channel or your TikTok account or your Instagram, I noticed that you're not publishing that often. Is there anything I can do to help? Well, yeah, it'd be great if you could, make some content for us. Okay, yeah, no problem. And then, and then you're like, okay, so to make content, this is my, what I offer for that content. And they're like, okay, yeah, this is great. Could you make X amount of these, for us, per month or per year, per quarter or whatever the thing is. And then you agree to that. And then you do those things. So, like they're trying to accomplish a goal. And the more creative that you can get when it comes to helping them accomplish that goal, the longer your relationships are going to be and the better the deals are going to be, because all of this stuff is itemized in terms of, okay, so you have these dedicated videos. These are going to cost X. You have these mentions. Within these mentions, these would, cost X, but we're going to mention you way more than that because we're trying to bring attention to you because that's the goal. But in terms of like the required mentions, you're going to get at least this, but it's going to be way more. And then from there, if you want, you want me to make some content for the channel, then we'll work that in. If you want me to do some live streams occasionally, we can work that in. If you want me to kind of reshare your stuff, I'm just going to throw that in as a bonus. If you just need something, out there and you make a tweet about it or you publish a video about it, just let me know and I'll share it. And then you can also work out other things like Desiree and I. So we're fortunate that we've been in the space, for what it is that we do for long enough that we also know a lot of other content creators. And because of that, it also adds an extra advantage. And that advantage is, okay, let's say that, some friends are also working with, some of these companies. Then in that particular case, part of your thing is you can be like, oh yeah, I also, know that you're working with such and such. So if they make a video about your thing, then I can tweet that video or I can share that video or we can do a collaboration or I can show up on their stuff and, like that kind of stuff. The opportunities are there for you. You just have to hop on calls and you have to be creative and proactive about trying to help them find solutions to bring attention to their products. And when you get good at that, it'll open the floodgates.
I think you're also something that's very important that a lot of people don't think about or consider, because so many of us are like you're like me, literally creating in your basements, or like you're isolated in situations you don't know what you're doing. Like the town I live in, no one understands what I do for a living. They all assume that my husband just makes a lot of money. So it's just one of those things that's interesting. And it's network. We need to network with people. And it doesn't need to be like people that are like just in our industry. Like again, like me and Nick, and we have a bunch of other friends that we all get together and we talk shop and stuff. It's also people outside your network. Like I have a accountability group I meet with every single week, and we all do wildly separate different things. And it allows for really great insights and perspectives, because what they're learning and researching and seeing, they can report back to all of us so that we can like learn pieces from it or be inspired by it or like get controversial about it, and it's really helpful. And we got together because of Justin at Creator Wizard. He does these quarterly like cohorts, and part of them is you have like the accountability group from the group. So we're in a cohort together, and we have continued to just do it. We're actually coming into like being in group for like almost a year, and we try to keep things pretty money focused, but we talk a lot about like creator stuff and life stuff and things that we're dealing with that are getting in the way of making things better. And it's really powerful, and it's incredibly helpful. I know I interviewed Brian G. Johnson, who's also another one of our friends, and he's talked about how like you guys have done a lot of things together, and like how you support each other and connect each other. Like you kind of need a creator bestie to help you through some things sometimes. And so it's definitely a great thing to help you, not just for money, but for your general work that you're doing.
Absolutely. And just that advantage of being able to bounce ideas off of other experienced people. Huge. Because, we're all focused on different things. We're all trying to, do different things. So there's a million things that Desiree's done that, that she'd be able to give me tips on. There's a bunch of stuff that I've done that I'd be able to, help her, and we can expand knowledge, that way. So yeah, being connected is definitely advantageous.
Yes. Now, one of the things that you also have, so your second highest income stream is with affiliates.
Mm-hmm.
How do you navigate affiliates? How many of them, like, do your sponsorships also give you affiliates, and which ones are away from it? Because I know that sometimes companies can get a little testy about the idea of like, well, I've paid you, I don't also want to affiliate you. So how does that like navigate?
Step one is I don't work with problematic companies like that. So if somebody, seriously, like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, well, we don't really want to do that, I'm fine to walk away. Like, I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. I respect that. I understand that's your stance, but my stance is also the other thing, and it's a requirement. So for me, as part of my agreements, I always make sure that if they have an affiliate program, I make sure that all of my tracking goes through my affiliate link, and I make sure that I maintain that affiliate link, and I also get paid as an affiliate. And the reason for that is because when you're doing brand deals, like one thing that is really important to know if you're a content creator that is just getting started with all this is if you're doing brand deals, you could have a year-long contract, but at the end of that contract, they might be like, hey, our budget is spent, or, this didn't work out the way that we wanted, or, we have a new marketing person and they want to just spend all the, bag on ads or something like that. So because of that, we're just not going to do it. And then bam, you lose a substantial amount of money if it's a decent deal. So because of that, when you have those affiliate links built in, then what you do is those links are built into your archive. So not only have you been collecting that affiliate income while it's there, but if you are fortunate enough to be bringing attention to things that have recurring payments, or to where it's like a subscription service, then that part of it is still going to keep rolling. And then in addition to that, any additional sales that come in from your archive where those links are, and any future things that you bring attention to, you're still going to get paid on those as well. So basically, it's just kind of like a parachute of sorts. So it's like, hey, when this deal ends, because nothing lasts forever. So it's like when this deal ends, then in that particular case, it ensures that you're still able to maintain some type of income coming in from that as well. And it's equally beneficial. So yes, for the brand deal, and yes, they're also paying you on the affiliate side. But at the end of the day, by you having that affiliate link, you are also a little bit more incentivized to bring even more attention to it, because not only you're bringing attention to the brand, but you're also making that extra money by bringing attention to that brand through additional mentions and things like that from your affiliate link.
Well, I also like to look at it like this. Like if someone's paying me a sponsorship deal, they're paying for me to create a video. And then the affiliate is my compensation for creating something so good that people want to buy it. Sort of like with book deals. Like if you do a traditional book deal, the publisher gives you in advance, like, here's the money to finish making this book, and we want to have the rights to it and stuff. And then after you've hit this dollar amount, like making back this whatever, then you continue to get a percentage of those sales going forward in perpetuity. Like, that's how I kind of look at how affiliates work. And that's why, like, I know last year I got frustrated because a lot of brands cut their affiliate programs, whether like ConvertKit went down to like just 12 months, or Canva just walked away from it, and they're like, we're only working with like an exclusive amount of them. Like, there's just a lot of like that kind of stuff that just kept this really like bitter taste in my mouth. And it's why would you stop paying people that are working like to help you grow and succeed? And so that part can get really frustrating. So I think that's I like how you had worded it about like, one, don't work with brands that aren't going to understand the longevity of a relationship, and two, that aren't like, you put yourself in a position, like, don't be in a position where you can't walk away.
Right. Unless you have to, like, if you're like, hey, you know what, if I don't do this deal, then, like, I'm not going to be able to pay bills or like whatever. Hey, I just want to be able to, like, make something right now. Then by all
Yeah.
means, like, do it. There aren't rules, regarding that. But, once you get to a certain point to where you can be, a little bit selective and whatnot, then, definitely work with companies that see that, long-term value going in both directions.
100%. Your next one that you have is a whopping 0.25%, which is your merch, stickers
Yep.
and mugs. And I think it's probably one of those things that's important. Like, you make a pretty substantial amount from your other one, but that one is still powerful because I go to events with people rocking the Nimmin shirts
Right.
all the time.
Yep.
So it's definitely, I think, a loyalty brand thing. And then you also have courses and digital products. Since you do a lot in the creator space and like in the SaaS space, what digital products and courses have you found to be successful for you?
So for me, I have the website that I built when I first was trying to monetize my channel. And with that has a front end a la carte store where people can buy video graphics and things like that. And then it also has a recurring membership as well. So I'm a huge fan of recurring things, on the business side. So because of that, I was able to, like, I was doing the a la carte thing and doing the services. And I was like, man, there's got to be a better way to do this. And then I was like, let me make this a membership and just see if people will be into it. And I made the membership, and then that quickly got me off of the services. But then I think it was like a month or maybe 2 months. It was like, okay, no more services. That all just got replaced by the recurring revenue that's coming in from this. For the digital products, really all I've got personally is I have my graphics website that I have, and then I have something called a Pad Planet, which is like an iPad video planner. And with those two, things, that makes up, that particular area right there. We've got free stuff too. Like, for example, we have a music service called Creator Mix, and Creator Mix is a free music service for content creators that we made as well. But we don't make like, like per sign up sales or anything like that, but we do get streaming royalties. So we take that music and then we put it up. We basically monetize free through this, but basically we take the music and content creators can use it, but then we also have it up on Spotify. And since it's like lo-fi and, things like that, then they get streams on Spotify and Apple Music and, all the other streaming platforms. So then we actually get royalties, coming off of those streams as well.
I love all of this. Nick, what is your next money move you have on the horizon?
I'm working on a course about monetization on YouTube, and I'm also going to follow that one with a growth course. On the growth course, I might actually just do a free one, and I'm kind of in the middle of this one. So on the growth course, I'm thinking of doing a free one and using it as a way to lead people into the money one. So basically just a full-blown free, like, this is how you grow your channel, so that I can get people ready to pay for the, the one on making money. And then that way, basically they'll know my teaching style. They'll know that what I talk about works and things like that. So then by the time they are monetized and making money from their YouTube channels through the free course on the growth, then they can, afford the one on making money.
I think that's a really smart idea too, because if someone is a student of yours originally, like, they can go to your YouTube channel and learn things from you for free already.
Yep.
And I know that you would do the smart, like, free things attached to, like, you want to get TubeBuddy and you want to get Opus Clip and,
Yep.
do all of those things to help you with it. But I also, like I said, you gave me the idea that we should make a monetization course because it's a big part of, like, what I do personally, and also, like, what we do, like what GigaStar does as well. Like, they're a money service
And
as well.
just this show. Like, if this show, just talking about monetization, it's a perfect fit because basically with every show that you do, you could be like, oh, hey, at the end, hey, by the way, if you're wanting to figure out how to, monetize what it is that you're doing, join our community at whatever the website is. And then, you have constant promotion, going out for that. And they've already listened to you for an hour. So they're already, like, knowing you, liking you, and trusting you, and all that stuff. It's a slam dunk in my opinion.
You don't have to convince me. Like,
yeah, I know.
Maybe that's coming. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe that'll be like the Q3 plan, right? We'll get these cards. For me, I just want people to have the steps to know that they can do this. I'm like, if I can do this, a military spouse with 2 kids, a husband with PTSD, if I can do this with less than 40,000 subscribers and have enough money to buy my dream home, an acre of land in Michigan, like, there's that version for everybody. And, people get so wrapped up in, I think, sometimes the wrong parts of what being a creator is about. And then they also forget about, like, they have to build a business, and, like, there's a lot of things that got to go in place to make that really work for them. And so I think that having, like, going out beyond the conversations of, like, how to start, how to grow, we also need to be like, how to make this sustainable so that you can keep creating and growing.
That's a really important part of monetization. Like some people, there's this kind of undercurrent on YouTube where people are like, well, if you're making money, then, you're doing it for the wrong reasons and all that stuff. It's like, no, you're not. Because if you are a content creator and you are putting your time and effort into that, if you want to be able to keep doing that, then you need to be able to generate revenue from it. If you want to be able to build a business around, making content or something else, but you're going to use content to bring attention to it, then in that particular case, in order to be able to keep doing that, you need to be able to generate revenue from it. So, I think it's silly for people to be like, oh, you should just make stuff that you're passionate about for free. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
I think that people, and this is my observation, I think a lot of people that say that have found success because they've done that, but they're making money probably in very limited ways. Like it's just AdSense and sponsorships probably. I also think that those are the creators that have other things that I would say work in their favor. Like they're younger, they don't have kids, probably aren't in like serious relationships, like where they're married and stuff and have other obligations. They're able to live their best dumb, young 20-something life and figure things out.
Man, what a good life. What a good life.
It's a part of life. Like you and I, we were in our 20s once. My 20s was spent trying to figure out how to live and exist and function. And I made a lot of stupid mistakes. And I was mean to people I shouldn't have been. And I have regrets about how things were, but I got out of it. And then I had to figure out the next phase of this. And part of it's like I became a creator in 2017 when I had 2 kids under the age of 3. My husband was in the beginning phases of what ended up being PTSD. We were living in another country. Like, if I can do it, anyone can do it. You just have to have the right systems and objectives and things in place for it to really work for you. And so I think and that's what this is for. So soapbox off of. So, but Nick, thank you so much for taking time to talk with me. It's always a great time talking to you. We always get into so many great topics and so much to share. We'll have the information to everything that Nick talked about over in our show notes over at thefundedyoutuber.com. Until next time, everyone else, peace out. The Funded YouTuber is brought to you by GigaStar, a parent company of GigaStar Market, an SEC-registered funding portal, and member of FINRA. Learn more at gigastar.io. Music provided by APM Music, unrivaled music to bring your stories to life. Neither GigaStar nor its affiliated companies provide legal, regulatory, financial, or tax advice. Any opinions expressed herein are those of the authors and are the informational purposes only. The information and opinions expressed herein are subject to change without notice and do not take into account the particular investments, objectives, financial situation, or needs of any specific investors.